you can't be excited about the current state of American film and culture. I can't be, at least, and not not that I can't be excited about it, but it's not something that for the last 10 years or so has, or 15 years, uh, or even since 9/11, has been something that's been uh, very beautiful, very beautiful. It's been something to where uh, more and more violent strategies uh, of uh, horror and other things have been introduced to audiences because of the uh, because of the I don't know the I don't know what it is, but I don't even care to. It's not important. It's not necessary for me to say why, but because this is really the facts, and the facts are that one of my dreams is that one of the dreams that Trump didn't help me with was the fact that the TV shows and the uh, film industry and the music industry in America always revolves around things that make people fearful and things that make people uh, scared and things that don't inspire wellness or happiness and inspiration. They inspire people to be tortured or to feel tortured and to feel enslaved and to feel tortured and enslaved. Yeah, I mean, there's not. You didn't have too many of that. You didn't have too much of that stuff during the '90s when uh, film was made for American audiences that weren't weren't obsessed with the wars on terror or stuff that involves American horror stories. They've gained a lot of popularity since 9/11, and also since the creation of digital cameras. And the Trump presidency, I was hoping for it. During that presidency, I was hoping that people would start feeling that feeling like America was a nice, beautiful place that would not have that, and people wouldn't have to spend time worrying about the military strategies of horror stories and scary stories like Saw and other things, which, in my opinion, which may be a conspiracy theory, are evolved out of thinking about the attacks against many innocent people in Afghanistan, and portrayed in a non-military setting to civilian audiences. From its start, the War on Terror created a world where, in my opinion, the mother and the father were kind of replaced with the government. And since then, and especially now, it's become absolute undesirable form of living, to where you see people trying to get out of it by claiming that they need to find out who is a racist and who is not a racist, and who is responsible for slavery and who is not responsible for slavery. That has nothing to do with the human nature of mankind. Uh, it has nothing to do with. That's not going to solve. Obviously, that's not going to solve the culture of fear and battles between Republicans or Democrats, well, between people who don't believe in a violent world and people who do believe in a violent world. And I'm guessing that most of the people who do believe in capitalism to make movies that intend to scare people, or to make crime shows that intend to scare people, are the same people that believe in Donald Trump, and the same believe that people that believe in fighting wars and not asking questions about right and wrong, about who's being killed and who's being illegally killed, and who's being innocently. I mean, not innocent, who's actually innocent, but is who are victims. And the coronavirus was a way for people to be, in my opinion, people who were for those things to wake up and realize that 20 years went by and no one questioned, no one protested, and no one thought it was right to make movies about the crimes of the United States of America and the crimes of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, which are simply finding a government who requested money for schools and things like that, but turning it into a war turning it into a fake war. We'll call it fake war or something, or I don't know what to call it. But what I'm trying to say is that it created a country where you have people blamed for something, and today it's blaming people for racism. Now, why are people being blamed for racism? Because the ultra-white, rich people in America want to, they either want to shift the blame from themselves to something else. The reason I know it's a strange topic, but the reason I started talking about this is because I saw a news report that said that something about kids being given sex changes in America, and I haven't had a chance to see the facts because I haven't reported on it at all. But I thought maybe there are kids that are kidnapped from Iraq and Afghanistan, and maybe George Bush and Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and Nancy Pelosi and everybody who voted for all the generals in the United States, and the people like General Austin or Zelensky, who keep wanting wars and wanting more American troops so that they can, like Trump said, they can steal kids and they can do weird things to them. And I got to thinking, because the news says that kids as young as 4 to 8, 4 years old or whatever, or 8 years old, are being given sex change operations in the United States. So yeah, you can see where I can think of reasons to want to talk about it. It's just weird for that, and with, I mean, as a parent's choice, you know. And I just wonder, are those really those kids' parents, or are they just kids that are stolen from other countries and raised in America? And is it, are American, I mean, is it just maybe it's, maybe I shouldn't, I don't want to offend some people in, you know, that need that for other things, but thousands of, hundreds of thousands of innocent people have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and for a war which conspiracy theories can always see are, I mean, the attack on, there's so many fake conspiracy theories. You would even think that 9/11 was a complete hoax. The people running out of the buildings were I mean, the people, there was nobody up in the buildings. Maybe there was nobody in the planes, or maybe there was, and that's. But if there was, is that, I mean, it's turned to kidnap thousands of kids from Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq, and give them sex change operations. I mean, that's. Is that something that George Bush thought of, or is that something that Dick Cheney thought of, or Liz Cheney, or something Barack Obama thought of, or is it something? I mean, who is thinking of this? And is that really what's going on in America? And how does it, how does it come back to the film industry? The reason I'm talking about this is because when you have people that you care about, family members, kids, parents, whatever, you don't want them growing up in a society where their brains are, I mean, their minds are not, are thinking of white supremacist horror movies and other things all the time, when as a black person or as another person, you know, the goal of the system, the plot of the system is to keep you broke, and it's to keep you ashamed. I truly think it's those movies that keep our parents addicted to TV shows, and it's those TV shows that keep our parents addicted to keeping us broke and saying no. And I think that's how the system teaches parents to enslave their kids, and I think how it trains the enslavement of the youth and the film directors of America. I think there's so many film directors that have made movies for film industries that are just really banking industries that keep you know, and that people like Netflix, and today, I mean, you see smaller people like Netflix, not smaller people, but I mean the Disney or Netflix finding, I mean, they societizing each state, each group of people, each race, each ethnicity, age groups, and stuff like that, based on how much freedom they give each group of people. And that's what people are talking about all the time in the news, and that's what people are talking about all the time in the Democratic Party. And they want to change things, change the system, And every time they think of something, Donald Trump starts dancing and having a good time, saying that he won't let America turn into a socialist country. And you hate it, but at the same time, I wonder, because I see the laws in California changing so drastically. I mean, you can have a 25-year-old can legally in California have sex with a 14-year-old. Those are laws that I get concerned about. Those are things that I get concerned about. That's really strange. And I also think about the woman's right to good health and security. And you think about it, and you think about whether or not many of the women have a chance to be free of the porn-driven society that we all live in worldwide. It's porn producers are pretending to be great by taking 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and the system manipulates many of them to think it's stardom, or to be that they're going to be great or stars or whatever, by getting naked and doing things in front of the camera for guys who just want to pimp them. And to me, it's not cool. It's not right. To me, every woman up to 22, 23, 24, 25 should have economic security first from the government, and should not legally be able to work in porn until 22, 23. Because I don't think that gives the woman a fair chance to be free and independent and educated. And educated. It's not funny to say that that's a way for them to get an education. That's really it's really not a nice thing to say. It's a rude thing to say. It's a fascist, racist, not fascist. It's a fascist, sexist thing to say. And I don't think it. I think it's an unfeminist thing to say. And I think real feminism would demand that the government give those girls up to 22, 23, even 24, 25 housing and economic security, so that they don't get trapped into a world where they did something that could be embarrassing to them, or could stop their potential or freedom from what they want to do if they weren't in a situation to where they would have to be manipulated or economically or other ways produced into or made into or forced into or manipulated into a porn-driven society for so many reasons. And you can see how, as being a person with a Persian background, and honestly and having concerns about Islam and women, or I would be thinking about, and growing up in America, I would be thinking about things like this today, where you have these new laws and you have this huge rise in digital porn, and talks about women's freedom between like Hillary and the Republicans. And it's really a serious thing. It's really serious when you see Hillary get Hillary get like Hillary get it spoken to like she was public, just like a disgrace by someone like Trey Gowdy or other Republicans that talked to her about Ambassador Stevens, or Donald Trump that talks to her about her emails. I mean, these guys that support real macho ways of life, they don't make time for educated women. They don't make time for educated women. They don't make time for educated classrooms. They don't make time for space between women's education, freedom, plus economic security. Economic security, and I know I'm sounding really smart now, so I have to laugh a little bit, but because I was hoping Trump would. I was hoping he would support my art project, which is called Art 4 by me and my uncle, Dariush Shokov, which he kind of did, but didn't. We couldn't get visas to the United States. I'm myself a graduate of the University of Texas in humanitarian studies, and I'm also I'm also a supporter of freedom for women in the Islamic Republic of Iran, freedom for choice of to wear or to not wear the hijab. I'm sorry I'm speaking without my shirt on, but sometimes you get the inspiration and you think about something and you have to just start recording it and talking about it so that it becomes recorded, or else you forget about everything. So that's part of my just perspective and stuff for today. I mean, I think women's rights should be fundamental at the space between the Republicans and the women of America obviously needs to be made for those women who want space from, and even those men who want space from needing people that don't believe in scary movies. They don't believe or the people that don't believe war is the only choice. But there's nothing stopping me from fighting against people who ban freedom for women. I would always join if somebody wants to help me fight to get my country back, the country of Iran, which is I wouldn't want to fight, but I would really wish the Islamic Republic of Iran would free its women from wearing from forced hijab, and also from wearing forced hijab. But also I would wish the Islamic Republic of Iran would give me and Reza Pahlavi that kind of free space inside of the Islamic Republic of Iran, which we're not allowed to visit because of our stance against the forced Islamic law, which goes against human rights and women's rights. My name's Shaheen Shokoofandeh. I'm hoping to be one day I'm just a voice for free Iran.